One sentence from Meghan Markle just set the internet on fire, and people are seriously divided over it. This isn't just another appearance in Australia. This feels bigger, louder, and way more personal. So what did she say that triggered all of this? In front of a group of students, Meghan made a bold claim without hesitation. She said she had been bullied every single day for 10 years, and even called herself the most trolled person in the world. The room went quiet, but online, it exploded instantly.
What's it like to be back in Sydney?
It's great. Last time I think we got, there was a torrential rainstorm.
Oh, much better today.
The weather's very nice.
Supporters jumped in fast, saying she was finally exposing the reality of constant online attacks. They pointed to the endless scrutiny, every outfit judged, every move analyzed, every moment turned into controversy. To them, this wasn't exaggeration, it was long overdue truth. But critics pushed back just as hard. They argued her statement painted a bigger picture, one where she puts herself at the center, while others facing serious online abuse are left out. And that's where things started to shift, because now the question isn't just about what she went through, it's about whether that claim goes too far. So what are people really reacting to? It's no longer about whether Meghan was criticized. It's about that bold claim and whether people believe it.
To Prince Harry, and yes, they couldn't have picked a more perfect Sydney day to be on the harbour. Harry and Meghan greeting fans at the Opera House this morning before jumping on a yacht with veterans from the Invictus Games and cruising around the harbour.
In a world where online harassment hits millions, can anyone really be called the most targeted? Or did that one sentence push things too far? Because today, perception moves faster than truth. One sentence turns into headlines, headlines turn into identity, and suddenly that identity becomes a weapon in a global debate. And for Meghan, this moment adds even more pressure to an image that already splits people down the middle, support or skepticism, depending on who's watching. But just as that fire was spreading, Prince Harry stepped into his own storm. While Meghan's comments were still blowing up, Harry praised Australia's plan to restrict social media for users under 16, calling it epic leadership. Sounds simple, right? Not quite. Supporters said he was addressing the same toxic online space Meghan was talking about.
Actually, so no, the warehouses are in California. Don't know what I'm saying there. But this website glitch shows that all of the talk of a scarcity of tickets was again just a lie. So what's really going on with this Australian event, Paula? Is it in as much crisis as people are saying?
But critics immediately spotted tension. How do you benefit from global platforms, then support limiting them? Two completely different interpretations, and both gaining traction fast. And then things got even more unexpected. Attention suddenly shifted to something small, but it didn't stay small for long. Meghan's mama-style branding started popping up everywhere, turning into a viral talking point. Was it just a personal touch, or a calculated image shift? Because now, nothing they do feels random anymore. So is this all part of a bigger strategy? Now it's getting deeper, because nothing around them feels random anymore. Every detail, every move, every outfit, people are picking it apart like it means something bigger. So is this just style or strategy?
Oh, I think it's a disaster in the making, Dan. I mean, let's be clear. Them saying that this was sold out is an old school marketing technique, all right? You announce something, immediately say it's sold out, and everyone wants it so bad.
Meghan's fashion choices are no longer just about looks. People are noticing how often they change, and some say it's part of a calculated brand shift. With talks of shoppable outfits and curated styles, supporters see it as smart, turning influence into business and control. But critics, they say it feels more transactional, like every look is part of a bigger plan. And just when that debate was heating up, something unexpected dropped, and it changed the tone completely. Meghan made a surprise appearance on MasterChef Australia, and that's when things really split. Fans loved it. They saw confidence, charm, and a natural move into entertainment. Clips of her smiling, greeting contestants, owning the moment, it all fed into her image as a modern media figure, breaking away from royal limits.
We are being subjected to fraudulence. This is just fakery. This is ridiculous.
But critics came in fast, and they weren't impressed. They questioned her role, her relevance, and why she was even there in the first place. Was this earned, or just celebrity access taking over? And now the conversation is shifting again, because if this wasn't random, what was the real reason behind that appearance? The reaction didn't slow down, it got louder. Comments flooded in, and a lot of them weren't holding back. Some viewers flat out rejected the idea of non-chefs judging a cooking show, while others brought up her past projects to question where her brand is really heading. Then another layer hit, confusion over her title. people started asking why she's still being called Duchess, sparking a whole new debate about her role after stepping away from royal duties. And just like that, the conversation got even more complicated. But it wasn't all negative. Supporters pushed back hard, praising her presence, her energy, and the way she connects with people. Some even said she brought something fresh to the show, a mix of entertainment and personality that traditional formats don't always have. Still, the criticism kept coming.
And you jack up the desire that people can put their names on a waiting list. People have been using this marketing trick for years. I mean, since the 50s or 60s. And so they did it again with this, and several people I know put their names on the waiting list.
Comments like, "I would rather an actual chef, not this wannabe who elevates the kitchen by putting pretzels from a store-bought bag into a see-through bag," and "another reason not to watch MasterChef," started spreading fast. And that's what made this moment explode.
Before they say, "You've got too many." And she was like, "Oh my God, that's almost like 29 places. That's crazy." The hotel let some rooms out, i.e. no one else is in the hotel, because I also had friends call down and try to book a room. And they were like, "Yes, of course. What time? When?" And it was for the exact same weekend.
Because now it's not just about a TV appearance, it's about what she represents. Is this a calculated move in a bigger brand strategy, or just a natural shift into modern media? And as the tour keeps unfolding, the tension isn't fading, it's building.
Oh, the cyclist. You enjoying being in Australia?
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's great to be back.
Anything to say to the Australian public?
Thanks for having us back.
Thank you.
That's all.
So why does every single moment keep turning into a battle? This isn't just about Meghan and Harry anymore. It's about what they represent now.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah, I don't care.
Are they here?
I didn't know they were.
I've got no idea they're coming. Nor do I care.
Because in the public eye, nothing they do stays simple. Every move turns into something bigger, something people either believe in or question hard. Strip away the polished photos, the perfect timing, the smiling visits, and one question keeps getting louder.
Would you pay $3,000 to see Meghan on Coogee Beach?
No, I wouldn't. I'd rather put that in my face. No.
No. What's she going to talk about?
Well, I mean, if she thinks that that's what she's worth, good on her.
Is this real compassion or carefully planned optics? That's where the tension really hits. Critics aren't just talking about speeches or outfits anymore. They're focused on the settings. Hospitals, outreach programs, emotional environments. Are these genuine moments or being used as powerful backdrops? Because the pattern stands out. A visit to sick children shifts the entire narrative instantly. A stop at a homeless center softens criticism just as fast.
Of course, you could have just flown into Australia like Kevin Costner apparently did this week, with no drama whatsoever, no big public issues. But instead, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle decided to pick a fight with the Australian media in regards to their security arrangements.
And when those images spread, it becomes harder to question anything else, which is exactly why some people are pushing back harder than ever. Supporters see meaningful work, critics see strategy, and that gap, it's only getting wider. So now the word tour doesn't even feel simple anymore. It feels like something else entirely, a mix of charity, media, and branding all happening at once.
Their spokesman is accusing Australian media of breaking an embargo, but why did this clown give details about private citizens? That's his fault. And according to Taz, added, wait a minute, Harry and Meghan give their itinerary to the media, then complain the media have endangered them by revealing the details of said itinerary. These two are a constant drama. We know you deliberately leaked your operational planning notes, so pipe down.
And that's what's making people uneasy, because if this isn't just a tour, then what is it really? Now the lines start to blur, and some people think that's intentional, because while the public moments feel emotional and personal, there's another conversation happening right behind the scenes, and it's all about money. On one side, you see connection, hospital visits, outreach, empathy. On the other, there's talk of paid appearances, brand deals, and business moves. And that contrast, that's where critics start using a loaded phrase.
Harry and Meghan's security may have been compromised ahead of their visit here to Melbourne. As Penelope Leash reports, the Sussexes are facing backlash over the cost of their trip to taxpayers.
Performative philanthropy. Supporters say it's independence, building their own path. Critics say it's packaging, turning visibility into profit. And hanging over all of it is something they can't fully escape: the royal connection. Because even after stepping away, the imagery still feels familiar. The welcomes, the visits, the structure, it all looks like royal duty, just without the official role. And that's where people start asking, are they really separate from it? Or still using that same influence when it works in their favor? Then Harry's comment drops into the mix, calling Australia's under-16 social media restrictions epic leadership.
In 2018, these then working royals were heartily embraced, crowds swamping newly married Prince Harry and Meghan in Melbourne and delighting them on the sand in Sydney. But 7.5 years later, with an exit from the royal family,
Would you go and try and see them anywhere?
no.
It sounds like a simple take on safety, but in this context, it feels bigger, like part of a pattern tied to mental health, online harm, and public authority. Supporters see leadership, critics see strategy, and Meghan's claim about being the most trolled, that just adds more fuel to an already divided reaction. So now everything is colliding. But is this all chance or something much more calculated? Now everything is hitting at once, and the reaction is louder than ever. In a world where so many people face online attacks without a platform, Meghan's claim didn't just land, it divided people instantly.
Now, the Duke and Duchess of Privacy are not going to get a welcome reception here this week after they disrespected this country, disrespected the Queen, and the entire royal family. We don't want you here, Meghan, and we don't want you here, Harry.
Every word, every move, it all turns into evidence depending on which side you're on. The backlash came fast. People started asking tough questions. Why this show? Why now? Why this moment during such a high-profile trip? To skeptics, it doesn't feel random at all. It feels placed, controlled, like every scene is designed to be filmed, clipped, and pushed out to the world within hours. And under it all of it, one theme keeps rising: perception.
Don't expect a welcome reception this week, as I said, this is another phony royal tour. And have a look at this. We have to fund it. Yes, us hard-working taxpayers have to pay for them to have police, even though this is a private tour.
Every stop, every interaction, every image feels built for attention. And the more polished it looks, the more people start to question it. Supporters call it strength in a harsh spotlight. Critics call it branding wrapped in good intentions. And somewhere in the middle is the reality no one can ignore. Attention is power, and every moment feeds the narrative. Because when you zoom out, this trip doesn't feel simple anymore. It looks structured, almost like a sequence of emotional scenes designed to hit hard and spread fast. So if everything feels this carefully shaped, what's the real story behind it all? This is where things start to feel uncomfortable, not because of where they go, but how it all looks on camera.
But Meghan wasn't enjoying it. My source, who works at Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, said that before she entered the area with the children, Meghan Markle had said just 4 words. Let's make this quick. What a humanitarian she is. Not. But the thing is, Australians already have the measure of this woman. Australians know what Meghan Markle is about. Look at this.
Hospitals, shelters, community spaces, real emotional places. And yet, every time, the cameras seem perfectly placed, capturing the exact moments that spread fastest online. That's what critics are locked in on. Not the visits themselves, but how often these deeply emotional settings become the center of the story.
Can I be honest and tell you I really don't think about them at all?
Are you aware that Harry and Meghan are in Australia?
I had no idea they were coming to Australia.
Yes, I did read about it.
I wasn't aware that they were coming out to Australia at all. I haven't seen anything on the news.
Honestly, no. I did not really know they came last time as well.
I don't know why they're coming.
Because when that happens, something shifts. The focus moves. Now, every tiny detail gets pulled into the spotlight. The outfit, the timing, the expressions, even a single smile. Nothing feels neutral anymore. Everything starts to look like a message, like it means more than it should. And once that idea takes hold, it changes everything. Even genuine moments start to feel staged to those already questioning it. The line between being present and being positioned, it gets blurry fast.
Warmly welcomed. They took a regular Qantas flight, in fact, from LA here to Melbourne. I can tell you they were sitting up at the pointy end in business class, so that would have been pretty nice. They touched down here on the tarmac just before 6. They were then whisked away in some Range Rovers, and they have been taken away.
But there's another layer people can't ignore. These moments don't stand alone. They sit right next to speaking deals, media projects, and business moves happening at the same time. So now you've got two forces colliding: emotion and strategy, compassion and commerce, all happening together. And that's the real tension driving this entire storm. But which side is actually telling the truth? Whether it's fair or not depends on where you stand. But the tension is real, and it's not going away. Because now the conversation has shifted to something bigger than titles or roles. It's about influence. Not official power, but soft influence. The kind that comes from recognition, from royal history, from the way their presence still carries weight, even without the title behind it. And that's where the questions start. Because sometimes it looks official, even when it's not. Supporters say that's exactly why they're effective. They can shine a global spotlight on causes that might otherwise be ignored.
Are you ever going to go to Meghan Markle for advice on mental health and support for veterans? Fair dues, Harry. Yeah, you know what you're talking about there. I'll do anything for veterans. But the idea that you take advice from these two, they don't even talk to their families. They've checked out of contact with their families. You're not going to go to them for mental health advice.
But critics push back hard, saying attention itself is the real currency, and those emotional settings are what make it valuable. And then there's the part no one can ignore anymore. Everything turns into content. Photos, clips, headlines. Within hours, the moment doesn't belong to the room. It belongs to the internet. That's the real shift. Nothing is just an event anymore. Everything is a signal. So now even sincerity gets questioned. Even genuine moments get debated. And this trip, it's no longer just a visit. It's a collision of visibility, emotion, and branding all at once. And when everything feels this amplified, you have to wonder, where does reality end and perception begin? This is where the conversation turns uncomfortable, fast. Because the harshest criticism isn't about appearances anymore. It's about the people in the background. Some are asking, are the most vulnerable being turned into part of the image? And once that idea starts spreading, everything shifts. Even small phrases like claims of, let's make this quick in sensitive settings, get picked apart and turned into symbols. Suddenly, what looked like a caring visit starts getting framed as something more controlled, more calculated. Critics grab onto that instantly. They say it shows impatience where there should be presence, image management where there should be quiet care. And just like that, the entire moment gets reinterpreted, not as outreach, but as something staged.
Will we get to see you back in Australia soon, Meghan? Oh gosh, I'd love to come back. It's brilliant here.
Then comes the explosion. Social media lights up, and nothing is off limits. The outfits, the timing, the security, the cameras, every detail gets pulled into the spotlight and questioned. And one word starts showing up everywhere. Use. Accusations that emotional settings are being leveraged for something bigger, turning deeply sensitive moments into part of a larger narrative. Whether that's true or not, it spreads fast. And once it sticks, it's hard to shake. Because side by side, the contrast is hard to ignore. Polished smiles on one end and heavy questions building on the other. So what happens when that contrast becomes impossible to unsee? And here's where everything collides. What people see on camera versus what they believe is happening off camera. That gap is what's driving this entire storm right now. Because the conversation isn't just about what happened anymore. It's about what it means. This isn't just a visit. It's turned into a symbol, a debate about authenticity, influence, and whether visibility like this can ever separate real service from self-promotion. By now, nothing feels simple. Even goodwill gets questioned. Even charity gets analyzed. And whether you agree with the criticism or not, one thing is clear. Every single appearance walks straight into a storm that's already waiting. In this kind of spotlight, there are no neutral moments left. Every gesture becomes proof of something, either sincerity or strategy. And that's why this story isn't slowing down. It's getting more intense by the day. What happens off camera is starting to matter just as much as what we actually see. So now the real question is, when everything is this divided, how do you even tell what's genuine anymore?